kind of like my intro to this account. My name's Colt Mullins. I'm 2025 Dynasty State Champion, and kind of hunt and fish and make videos on that. That's what I'm gonna try to do, and yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. So I'm pretty much making this so like kids don't have coaches, and help them out. They want to get better shooting these Genesis bows. That's what it is. So this video is going to be about just little tips and tricks to make people better. It's going to be easier. And so what you want to start out with is like your stance. So when you're in your stance, you can't really see it. Camera's not set up very well. But the back foot's going to be level, straight like that. This foot you want to turn to 90-degree angle or 45-degree angle towards your target, kind of. And then knocking your arrow and stringing your bow. Just knock it, lift your bow hand up and draw back. Put your knock in your lip. Put your knock in your lip. That. Your nose on your string. And when you let go, you just want to just let your string go through your hand. So one way to get better, in my opinion, is just shooting a lot. I shoot about 1,000 arrows a day, which that's kind of overkill for a lot of people. But make sure your arrows are straight. You don't want to have bent arrows. That'll mess you up a lot. So yeah. When you shoot, I'm very bad about it. Is keeping my bow up just until it hits the target. But you see, that wasn't a very good round. I still shoot bad shots too, just like everybody else. But yeah, in my opinion, the key to shooting nasp and Genesis bows is more of tuning your bow to you. If you're in the range of 4 foot 5 to 5'2", you're gonna have to have a really heavy bow, especially for 15 meters. You never want to have your arrow aiming above the target. So you want to be able to see the yellow ring when you're shooting at all times, which the yellow ring would be like right there. I try to aim right there on the target. And even with these black bows or any bow, I always put tape right here because I aim at 15 with this little groove. If you could see, I put that right next to the 10. So if you can tune your bow to where you're able to do that, because if you're in like I'm 5'8", the 5'5" to 6 foot range, you can have a medium style, like you can have your weight around medium. I shoot around 14.5 pounds on these bows, and I'm able to put that right next to the target at 15, right next to the 10 at 15 meters, and then that's pretty much what I'm going to go over in this video. Is tuning your bow to you. Like if you're a shorter person, you have to have your bow cranked all the way up. So, but if you're taller, if you're in the 6 foot to 6'5" range, you can have a really light bow to do that. If you're at my height, 5'8" to 5'5", you can have like around 14 pounds to be able to do it. And make sure you're knocking in your lip. And I try to scrape my face when I'm pulling back after my shot. And so that's what we're gonna go over is like tuning your bow to you, which in nasp archery with these Genesis bows, Genesis original bows, in my opinion, an Allen wrench is your best friend. That's just my opinion, because you can tune your bow to you, and a lot of people don't understand that. They just get a bow and try to get good with it, which you can't get good like that. If you see all the guys like me, Jaeger Ingram, Caden Eyestone, and people like that, they have their bows at a lighter poundage because they're around 5'8" to 6 foot. But because they can put it exactly where they want it and still have the power to be consistent and not just be lobbing arrows. So how you tune your bow to you is I have these on my bow. It's like a dial. Tybo's Archery helps me with my strings in Wagner, Oklahoma. Strings, anything you want on your bow, Tybo's Archery's got it. And so you take this, you just put it in there, you turn it. You always want to turn your limbs the same every time. You don't want this one to be turned halfway and this one to be turned full. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this helps me with, is I tune my bow a ton. And after I shot my 300, I tried to tune my bow more, and I shot 277, which wasn't very good for me. So if you get your bow to where you like it, sometimes you have to change it. Like some days you're in here shooting and you're doing something different and you can't figure it out. So you change it and you shoot good. The next day you'll be doing the thing you were doing before perfectly and you'll be shooting high or low. So just try to be consistent and do everything the same. Like I see kids that will, when they come back with their arrow, after they shoot, they'll go to grab their arrow and they'll go like this and pick it up, and they mess up their stance because you're not in the same spot on your target. You kind of want your bow to be aligned with the middle of the target when you're shooting. That just helps me a lot. And just doing everything the same, being consistent. That was a 10. And yeah, and then I use a wrist sling on my bow. It's like that. Because when you're holding your bow, you don't want to grip it. I just hold my hand like that the whole time. I see people that do this and go like that, which that messes up your shot. It makes you very inconsistent. So that just kind of helps me. Some people are really good just holding their bow, but most aren't. You have to I don't even know how people do it. But just shooting in general, like go home, when you get your bow, shoot and shoot and shoot. And you can get pretty good by just shooting and working on your form, working on being consistent with yourself. I shoot a lot at 15 meters. I haven't shot a 10-meter shot since state, which that was Monday. And because in my opinion, if you're able to be good at 15, you can figure it out pretty easily at 10. And you can be really good at 10. 10, in my opinion, the 10 meters is just a warm up. Then when you go back to 15, that's what shows how good you really are. And like even like that shot, I dropped my hand. You see what we shot. I shoot. So when you shoot 5 arrows like you would in a a tournament, I practice shooting around 7 arrows. Sometimes I'll just get arrows out of the arch room and I'll shoot a whole thing of them, which that's around like 30, 40 arrows, and then go get them all. And I'll have a group like that in the tin, just filling it up. That just helps me shoot on days that I want to shoot more arrows than just set 6 or 7. That's what I do. And you want to make sure when you're tuning your bow, when you're taking it up or down, higher poundage, lower poundage, you want to make sure you're doing the same thing when you're shooting, so you know it's consistent of where you're going to hit, and you know that's truly how high the poundage is. Like, that kind of sounded weird, but that doesn't make sense. But you want to make sure that you're doing the same exact thing, so you know, make a group. You don't want to shoot one arrow, be like, oh, that's low, I need to take the poundage up to get it where I want it. Or that's high, I want to take it down. You need to shoot at least 5 arrows. And if they're spread out, shoot again until you have a group that's about the width of the yellow. That would be a decent group for some people. And then you know where you're at. And you can take it up or down. And then you take it up. I always take it up in half turn intervals, which that is from here to there. Just turn it like that, or turn it like that. Just half. And then if I'm still shooting low or high, I'll take it down half. And that's how I do it. That was a bad shot. I think I dropped my bow on that one. And just on bad shots, you need to figure out what you did. Like, regroup, think about it for a second, and then shoot again. And just think back of what you could have done differently on that shot. Not about aiming. Because if you're able to aim at the same spot in practice and hit the 10, then why would you change it in a tournament? Which I see kids that will shoot a bad shot at 15, and then they'll change their aiming point and then shoot exactly where they aimed at the new aiming point. Hit exactly where they're aiming. And then they take it back and they start hitting 10s again. But in a tournament, you can't have that, because every 10 counts. Every shot counts, unless it's practice. Shot low on that one. And just watching videos of people like Chris B, Bomar Bow Hunting, people like that, even watching the Indoor World Series and seeing what they do with their hand and seeing how their form is and try to imitate that. But everybody shoots differently. You have to you can take little bits of each person, put it all together, and you'll still shoot bad. You need to take some bits, find what's working. And then if it's not working, take a step back, do something else until it works for you. In my opinion, 3 fingers in the notches of your fingers, and at the bottom, and then put your knock on my lip, and then my nose on the string, just slightly. You don't want to be like that on your string. You just want to have it just touching. And we'll go up to 15, and so at 10 meters, you'll shoot. You need to aim lower. I use this piece right here at 10 meters and just aim it lower and to the right just a little bit to counter, like, use your all, the closer you are, the lower you need to aim, pretty much. See. So, yeah. Yeah, this mic is kind of janky, so it's kind of loud, I would think. Those are all 10s other than 2 that I messed up and shot low. But that's how you know where your group is. You can know the arrows that shot low, you know you did something different than usual. But and what I'm saying might not work for everybody. I just try to give out the tips that work for me. And a lot of the kids that I've gave them to helped them a lot. And they started shooting pretty good. And even arrow color. Like, I can't see colors pretty good down there. And I like to know where I hit. So I found that it used to be black that helped me a lot. I could see them. And then I found I could see these arrows shaft way better when they're down there. And even some kids, you'll shoot your bow and your arrow will kick up like that and then go straight out. All that, you can't change that by changing where you knock and stuff. That's all in where you put your arrow on your string. So just put it above your knocking point, shoot and see how it flies. And if it does fly straight, then put your arrow back right there and make a new knocking point above your arrow where it's just barely loose, where you're able to move it just a tad. And then if it's shooting like that, that's usually because your arrow is too high. So you want to put it a little low and see where you hit and see how it is. But that kind of wraps it up for this video. I'm probably going to make more. It's kind of just like an intro to the channel. I know I'm not going to get a lot of followers or anything like that, but you know, if people do watch this, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to go to college for archery and go to the Olympics and stuff like that, which when I go to college, I can actually start doing that stuff. And just want to kind of record the journey, take people on it. Thank you.